Hey everyone. In this video I want to share a rule that everyone should strive to live by. And this rule is to aim to make conscious decisions, not fear-based ones. This is important because a lot of people live by making fear-based decisions. They're not really living consciously. This is why so often you hear people saying that a lot of people are asleep in life and that they're just going through the motions, because they are, right? They're not really being conscious in their decision making. And many people are in fact fear-based. They're not choosing what they do in life consciously. They're choosing it because they're afraid that certain things will happen if they don't go down certain routes in life. This is where you get a lot of people living in accordance with what their parents want for them, or what society wants for them, or God knows whoever else it may be, and it's not actually their own decision. Like when someone becomes a doctor because their parents tell them that's the only profession you should be. Like, if you're not a doctor, you're dead to me. And then they go down that path, but they're not doing it because they consciously want to. They're doing it out of fear because they don't want their parents to disown them. But when you think about the fact that you only get this one shot at this life, at least to our knowledge, you should make the most of it. You should live in accordance with what you want, not what anybody else says you should do. And this is why it's important to be conscious in your decision making. When you're making decisions, you should stop and ask yourself, am I deciding this consciously because it's what I know is best for me? Or am I doing this out of fear because I'm afraid that other people will reject me if I decide something else, or I'm afraid that people will disown me if I do something else, or I'm afraid that they'll judge me, or whatever else it may be. And if you find out that the decision was going to come from fear, maybe you should stop and rethink what you're doing in life, because you want to be conscious. And yes, sometimes that will mean losing people in your life. But I have found in my own life, you will only ever lose people who shouldn't be in your life anyway, people who don't deserve a spot in your life. And yes, unfortunately, this sometimes will mean maybe your parents aren't the best people to have in your inner circle. Because if they don't want what's best for you, and instead they want what's best for them, like using you as a tool to make them look better in their peer group, well, those are crappy parents. I hate to say it, but they should want you to be happy, not themselves to be happy through you. That's stupid. So, yes, sometimes this will mean losing people that you previously have either been close to or have just had in your life for long periods of time. But this is one of those things where it's like sunk cost fallacy. Even if you've had someone in your life for years or decades, if they are not a good impact on you, that shouldn't matter. You should be willing to drop them and move forward so you can finally create your own happiness, and not have these people in your life who are negative influences on you, who are holding you back, who are making you make those fear-based decisions that aren't helping you. You cannot become happy by making fear-based decisions. Go ahead and try. Be my guest. Try to become happy by making a lot of fear-based decisions. Good luck, right? It's not going to work. So you need to be more conscious, and especially do this when it comes to romance. I see so many people make fear-based decisions here because they're afraid of losing someone, they're afraid of being alone, whatever else it may be. So they decide to get with people who are not great for them because of those fears. And it's so ridiculous, because the solution here is to work on yourself, to get to a point where you can overcome many of those fears that you have, to really analyze them and tackle them. Why do you have this fear? Why are you afraid of being alone? Why do you feel the need to run away from people who actually express healthy love to you? Why do you have these issues? What caused them? Get to the root point of them, or the root cause of them, should I say, and that will allow you to dismantle why you even have them, which will hopefully allow you to then tackle that fear that you have. Once you know the root cause of a fear, it becomes a lot easier to get rid of that fear. And sometimes you may not be able to completely dismantle the fear, but at least you'll be able to consciously understand it so you can choose to overcome it when it arises, or when it rears up its ugly head again. Because I'll tell you guys, I'm not completely devoid of fear myself. There are plenty of times where fear creeps up in the back of my mind, and I have to catch myself and realize, holy crap, if I decide this thing in this way, I'm allowing fear to control me there. That's not what I want. I want to be conscious here. So notice, you can have a fear, but still choose to go around it, to not let it control you. That's what you want to do. Because good luck ending up fearless. That's rather difficult to do. I don't think many people can get to a point where they have like no fears whatsoever. So don't make that your goal. Just make your goal understanding your fears, being more aware of them, and then consciously choosing to navigate around them or through them instead of letting them control your decision making. That's what you want to do in life, and that's how you get to a point where you can be conscious with your decisions. So that way you can hopefully steer yourself towards a path that will make you happier instead of going in these directions that only ever hold you back and sometimes even make you repeat the past. Like, it's unfortunate to see. I've done this myself in the past, and I've encountered plenty of people in my own life who have done this as well, and even sometimes in a really unfortunate way where they're dating me, we're having a great time, and then they decide to go for another dude who's not great for them, but hey, that's again someone being fear-based and being controlled by their past. So you just want to make sure you don't do these things yourself. You don't want to pass up great opportunities or great people because of past fears that are controlling your decision making. Always strive to be conscious and do not make decisions based in fear. I will throw one last caveat in here, which is if you're in a life or death situation, that's one case where fear is valid, but the vast majority of the time, we are not in situations where our fears are really helpful, right? Usually it's because of anxiety or prior trauma or the fact that we're unhealed in some ways. And it's not helpful. Like, it's not steering us in a direction that's going to make us happy over time. So for the vast majority of the time, strive not to make your decisions based in fear unless you're literally in a life or death situation. But even then, it's usually helpful to remain conscious in your decision making. But anyway, you guys get what I'm driving at here. I've said enough. I hope you enjoy this video. Please feel free to leave your thoughts on this in the comment section below. I'll be curious to see what you have to say, and I will see you guys in the next video. Arrivederci.